Three, two, one.
Woohoo! Happy
Woo!
pre-New Year, Seth and his
Yeah, make
beautiful
this all
son.
happy new year. I'm doing fantastic. I'm still entertaining my audience on my YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh. So you're pretty active on your channel, huh?
I am
Fantastic, buddy. What is your channel about? I'd love to watch it. I'll have to find it.
it's basically a mixture of all things of my favorite hobbies, like traveling and reacting to trailers and vlogging, and also Disneyland Resort Paris.
Oh, I see. So you're a real Disney fan?
Yes,
And
yeah, I'm a big Disney geek.
yeah, great. Well, I'll tell you what, they're not a bad place to geek out over. The Disney folks have been real good to me. Boy, they've hired me for Darkwing Duck and for Lilo and Stitch and for Tinkerbell and oh my God, Teacher's Pet, uh, Jungle Cubs, I think, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Too
Uh,
many to mention.
yep. Um, uh, Doc McStuffins. I have been so fortunate to work at Disney. And this weekend, I spent the whole weekend with Jason Marsden, Bill Farmer, and Jim Cummings. We had the whole group of Goofy movie people here.
Really, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. That doesn't happen very often. We don't get to see Jason much at all. He lives in Tennessee. Billy and Jim and I live in LA, but we were all got together in Houston, Texas, and it was great fun. A lot of people still love Goofy movie.
Myself included. I love the Goofy movie.
You know what, Seb? I never knew how many people your age love Goofy movie. My son is 40 and his wife, I think, is 37 and 36. And I called them one day after being at an event that was kind of highlighting a celebration of the Goofy movie. And I called them and said, this may be a dumb question after I got done. I said, you guys watch Goofy movie? And he said, oh, yeah, probably 3 or 4 times a year. We love that. Why? And I said, because I had no idea that people still like Goofy movie. And he kind of said, "Pfft, yeah, everybody does. So thank you, Seb.
Welcome. It's gonna turn 30 sometime really soon next year, I believe. Let me Google it. Goofy movie. It came out in 1995.
I know. So this year, coming up, will be the 30th anniversary of Goofy movie. That absolutely just blows my mind how quickly that happened. Because I remember recording it, and I think there's even a little video or maybe a sort of small documentary about the making of a Goofy movie. I've not seen it, but anyway, no big deal. So, how many times have you been to Paris Disney?
I've I've barely lost count. Lost count. Yeah, I've been there many times. I've been there many times.
Go a lot. Great. Do you just drive under the channel and head to Paris?
No, we don't take the Eurotunnel. We take a flight called EasyJet from
Oh,
Bristol Airport all the way up to Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport.
great.
It's about an hour's flight. It's a little short.
Fantastic. How long have you lived in the UK, Seb?
Ever since I was born, at the end of
No,
January, I was born in London.
no kidding. Are both your parents is only one parent American or are both your parents American?
Both parents are Canadian.
A Canadian. Excellent. Where are you from? Or where are they
Toronto.
from?
My family is from Toronto, Canada,
Oh,
but I live in the UK.
I love Toronto. I love Toronto. I've spent so much time there as a kid because I grew up in Michigan, and I have very close friends and relatives in Toronto. And we were just doing, gosh, this year it was I was in Toronto twice. We did Animaniacs in concert on March 30th, which was Maurice's birthday. He was there with us, and
Really?
yeah, and then in September or August, I think, was Fan Expo Canada, which is also back in Toronto. And boy, I just love it there. So, well, good for you. So you've got, if you're a Canadian, you can go live in any one of the Commonwealth nations, correct?
Yeah, mostly stick to Toronto. It's really
Yeah.
big, and I love the CN Tower that goes with it.
Oh man, no kidding. I remember when that was first built, because until then, the tallest building in the world was the Sears Tower in Chicago. And now, well, I don't know. It used to be the CN Tower, and now I think it's the Burj Khalifa in Abu Dhabi. But yeah, the CN Tower, that's a remarkable engineering feat. Pretty
Mm,
cool.
Yeah, it has a 360 restaurant that goes with it. You get to see the
Uh,
whole city from above.
it's beautiful. And the aquarium there at the
Ripley's
bottom.
Aquarium.
Yeah. So do you live in Bristol?
I don't live in Bristol. It's the Corston area outside Bath in
Oh
Somerset.
yeah, sure. I've not been to Bath, but I know where it is.
Well, please feel free to come visit anytime.
Oh, I would love that, Seb. I love being in the UK. This was it this year or last year? Last year I was in no, this year I was in London. Last year I was in Wales. The year before in Dublin. Yeah, I love being in the UK. I've never been to Scotland, um, but I really, really like being in the UK. So I hope to get back there a lot more. Great
Mhm.
place.
Yeah, and speaking of Maurice, that you mentioned during Animaniacs, believe me when I show you this photo, it's
Great. Let
right
me
over
see.
here.
Oh my gosh. How about that? When was that, buddy?
It was during October's MCM London.
Oh, right. When he was there with Futurama.
Yes, the Futurama panel. How'd you guess?
Because we talked about it, Billy and John and Mo and I. In fact, Mo was supposed to go with us in May, and then something came up, so he went later with Futurama because he was going to come
Oh,
with me for Pinky and the Brain. Um, but I'm glad he went because he loves being there, and I think he brought his wife, and they went to a couple of plays, and of course, especially Billy, Mo, John, and I'll think
lost
of it.
you.
But anyway, the not was I'm sorry, was Katie Seagal there?
I don't think she was.
Right.
And like you said, Billy West, he was there as well,
Yeah.
alongside music duo Ali and AJ, which I met virtually. Then I reunited with them in person.
Excellent. Great. So you got to meet him.
Yeah, and yes, I met Maurice, your partner in crime, Maurice, and
That's very funny.
I was standing in line waiting to say hello to Billy West. How much I really liked Space Jam
Oh,
as Bugs Bunny, and then sitting right next to him was Maurice. I looked at the Pinky Brain t-shirt he was wearing, and I was like, "Did he work? Did he work with Rob Paulsen on Animaniacs?" And someone
yeah.
behind me said, "Yes, he did."
Isn't that great? Well, I'll tell you what, those Billy, um, Johnny, and Mo, obviously, are three of my very best friends, and they are, we know how really, really talented they are, but they're the nicest people, Seb. I just, what I love most about all these people, these men and women with whom I work, they're so nice. I'm like you, I'm a fan, and when I find out how kind all of them are. I'm just blown away that I guess it shouldn't surprise me, but sometimes people in Hollywood have a reputation of being a little full of themselves. Not these people. They are just salt of the earth. You could hang out with Billy West all night, and he is a kind gentleman, stupid talented, really funny, and just a total delight. He's like, you and I talking, just a great guy.
Yeah. especially when you talk to your fans, especially when you traveling to many different Comic Cons, like in London, Toronto, and almost every single continent in the United States.
Boy, that's true. I don't think I've been to a con in every state, but it's sure getting close because, geez, this year I think I did 23 or four of them. But yeah, gosh, Michigan and Toronto and God, New York, upstate, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina. Going to be in South Carolina next month. Last week, I was in uh, Houston. Earlier this year, Dallas.
Wow.
Uh, gosh, Arkansas, Louisiana, Chicago, Indianapolis. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. So it's been a really good year. So what are you doing for Christmas, man?
Well, I'm staying with my family for Christmas here in Houston, and we booked us a Christmas reservation at the pub, which is about a 2-minute walk from here. It's called the Globe.
Uh-huh.
It's
Great. You're gonna be staying there overnight?
um, um for the Christmas dinner at the Globe. Yes, and
God. Oh, that's great, buddy. How that wonderful. How many folks are in your family?
there's five. Well, four of them here in the UK, and my brother Harley, he goes to school at the University of Bath,
Got
and
it.
and my brother Paris, living in Toronto, he's a musician. He's doing some busking outside some of the nearby places in Toronto,
Great.
and he does a few gigs at a restaurant called Hemingway's.
Oh, good. In Toronto?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Do you get back to Toronto much, Seb?
Yeah. In fact, I'm kickstarting a 2025 off by celebrating my 25th birthday in Toronto by the end of January.
Excellent. What day is your birthday?
At the end of January, the 31st.
Good for you. Well, I'm a March person, and
Mhm.
Maurice is from Toronto, and his
I
birthday,
noticed.
isn't that something? Yeah. So there are a lot of us. Jim Carrey, Maurice LaMarche, Tara Strong, Howie Mandel. Gosh, lots of Alan Thicke, gone now, but lots of performers from Toronto end up out in LA.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a lot of people to list.
no kidding.
And speaking of Christmas, what does Christmas mean to you? Like the words of the
Oh,
Stevie Wonder song?
what a great question, Seb. I thank you for asking that. That's a great question. What Christmas means to me. Well, I had a lovely childhood. I had two parents who were married for, gosh, a million years, and a brother and two sisters. Uh, and I was very fortunate to grow up in a home in which I was very much loved, and as were my children, my siblings, as all the children. But um, so for me, I, although I love Christmas, I still feel it's for children, and not in a condescending way. And by that I mean the children and everybody. It's kind of like my job. The shows on which I've worked that have become pretty successful are not really kids shows. They're shows for kids of all ages, like Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs, to some extent Ninja Turtles, Jimmy Neutron. A lot of those have very smart scripts and uh, start out not condescending to kids. They make a show for everybody, like Looney Tunes.
Mhm.
And I could still watch Bugs and Daffy and Tweety all day long, you know. So for me, I like Christmas because it reminds me of of a time in my life that I try not to ignore, which is my childhood, and I don't ever want to lose my sense of wonder. That's something that's been very helpful for me in my work and a lot of it happens around Christmas, where you go, wow, everything is so great, it's so beautiful. And so that's what it means to me. How about you?
I wish I had a million reasons why, but what
Yeah.
Christmas means to me is spending time with my loved ones, like my family and friends, and
Yes.
etc. But I also love the Christmas music that plays on the radio,
Oh,
and all the way up until Boxing Day, and so
exactly. Me too.
until it's
I do too.
yeah until we head on over to ABBA's Happy New Year at the end of the year. Um,
Yes.
you've heard that song
Yes.
before?
Yes. Uh, oh, that the music. Oh my God. Um, it's so wonderful how all that Christmas music reminds me so much of my parents, my grandparents, um, people who I think about almost every day. I think about my mom and my dad every day. Uh, my grandparents on both sides. Yeah, it's especially now as I'm getting older, and people start to pass away.
Mm,
It's just wonderful to have those memories, isn't it? I'm so grateful to have
yeah,
them.
definitely. Do you have a few of your favorite Christmas movies that you watch?
Christmas movies? Oh yeah, always Wonderful Life.
Same here.
You know what I like a lot, believe it or not, my favorite episode of Pinky and the Brain, and one of my favorite Christmas shows is Pinky and the Brain Christmas. I love that episode. It's so authentic and so sweet because Pinky is just absolutely dead set on making sure that Brain sends Pinky's letter to Santa Claus for what he wants for Christmas. And all Pinky wants is for Santa to give the brain the world because he loves the brain and he believes that the brain ultimately has everyone's best interests at heart. And so I love the sweetness of that. And a few years ago, Mo and I did a Toys for Tots thing at a famous comedy club in Hollywood called the Improv, and we did a viewing of the Pinky and the Brain Christmas, and man, was it ever great! Everybody was sniffling. It was just really sweet. So that's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, um, stuff like that. How about you?
As always, It's a Wonderful Life. They play it every Christmas. In fact,
Good.
I'm planning on seeing a throwback screening of it in my nearest cinema.
Ah, yeah, that's great. Yeah, and that's really it's great when you can see those movies in a theater. It's pretty cool. Now, of course, it's so convenient to be at home. In fact, right now I'm in Central California. I'm not. I live in LA, but have a vacation place up here. Um, but yeah, when you can watch those movies, uh, especially in an old theater, it's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, very. And as a matter of fact, I'm already going through almost a full list of Christmas movies that I like. Some of them are
Fantastic.
great, some of them are not great, but I don't mind how good or bad they are.
You know what? I'm with you, Seb. In fact, when um, when I'll be interested in seeing a movie and people will tell me, yeah, we only got 67 on Rotten Tomatoes or 3 stars or 2 stars. I, it's all subjective. I understand that there are people who make a living being critical and hopefully helping people decide what to watch. But I've seen too many movies and TV shows that I'll watch and say, "Oh my God, I love this. I don't care what other people say,"
Mhm.
because I also know how hard it is to get anything done. It's really tough to get a movie made. You need a pile of someone else's money
Yeah,
and uh, and a great script, good actors, well directed, and for it to all to come together is really tough. And so I'm always keen to try to at least give people the benefit of the doubt, you know?
Definitely. Do you have a favorite animated Christmas movie?
Well, uh, I let's see, movie.
Besides the Picking the Brain episode that
Yeah,
you already
yes.
mentioned?
Yeah, that's only a half hour. A movie, let's see. Well, I there are a couple of TV versions, I mean, a couple of TV shows that I are short films. I love The Grinch, uh,
I
the, the Warner Brothers Grinch with Boris Karloff as the voice, the narrator. That's been a staple since I've been a little kid. There was one by Rankin Bass called Frosty the Snowman. I really enjoyed that. Charlie Brown Christmas. As far as an animated feature for Christmas, there are a couple of them that may not be necessarily Christmas films, but I really enjoy the heart of the movie. Iron Giant, I think, is a great movie. There's a new one. Some of the Pixar movies, uh, Inside Out, I think, are great movies. Um, God, there's so many of them. I ended up watching them at Christmas because I was home for a couple of weeks, so we'd watch things on VHS. I love watching Bambi. I love watching, like I said, Iron Giant. I'm sure I'm thinking of missing other ones. Up, Up is another really great movie because I got to know Ed Asner a bit, and I'm good friends with Ed Asner's oldest son. And that's another fantastic movie. What about you? Are you have animated Christmas features?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just started watching the new Netflix Christmas movie called That Christmas. It's
Oh,
Yeah, it's a group of kids. It's like Love Actually. Richard Curtis was the man behind this movie, the one who did Love Actually, and
yes.
basically the group of kids who were snowed in, and they're waiting impatiently for their parents to come home for Christmas due to a snowstorm.
Excellent. Oh, I'm going to look for that because
Yeah.
you're a very smart young man. You got excellent taste. So I'm gonna if it's good if Seb likes it, I
Yeah,
have no doubt I will.
it does have an original song by Ed Sheeran. It's called Under the Tree. It just hit the UK music charts. It's a really
Yeah.
good
Oh, that's
track.
great. Well, if it gets 5 stars from Seb Sanford, I'm in. That's all.
Maybe 4 to 5. 4 to 5.
Okay, that's fair. That's really good.
Yeah.
Uh, I did a Christmas special. Oh gosh, it's probably been Jesus, maybe 20 years now. Phew, called The Happy Elf, in which I played the elf, and uh, I got to sing songs written by Harry Connick, and I was in it with Charlie Adler directed it. Lewis Black was in it. Carol Kane, Kevin Michael Richardson. Um, that was a lot of fun. But I'm going to have to check out uh, That's Christmas. I'm so grateful for the recommendation.
Yeah, it takes place in in a British town called Wellington.
Excellent.
Anyway, moving forward, but
Sure.
as you know, we're nearly getting to the end of the year 2024, and
Yes.
I've already made a list of my 5 favorite movies that I've seen this year.
Great. Please fire away because I've not seen a
Okay,
lot of them.
I'll start from 5. Number 5, Inside Out 2.
Mm,
It's very well animated. We've waited 9 years for a sequel like that,
no kidding. Has it
and
been 9 years?
yes, since
Oh
Inside
my
Out.
God. Seb, how does that
Yeah,
happen?
I don't
Wow.
know.
I, honest to God, if you had asked me how long ago was Inside Out 1 released, I'd have said, gosh, it's got to be 3 or 4 years. 9 years.
9. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, what's next?
Okay, and number 4, If. Short
Ah,
for Imaginary Friends. It's
uh-huh.
starring and directed by John Krasinski. Ryan Reynolds was in it. And it's
Yeah,
basically a film about imaginary friends.
great. You know what? I've not seen that either. I'm gonna have to check that one out for sure.
It will probably be on Netflix or Paramount Plus.
Yes,
The film was made by Paramount. It's such
great,
a great movie, and I describe it as a live-action Pixar film.
great. That's a pretty high bar.
And it was one of the final projects from the late Louis Gossett Jr.
Oh yeah,
His if
yeah.
character was a teddy bear named Louis.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, great. Then
He
that's another
yeah
one I'm gonna put
he
on my
died
bucket.
he died a few months before the film was released.
Yes, that I remember. I never got to work with Lewis. Never met him. Big fan. Very nice fellow from what I heard.
Mm,
Um, I did a show years ago called Biker Mice from Mars, which is being rebooted by uh, Ryan Reynolds and his
really?
company.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's a Canadian. As you probably know, Ryan's Canadian,
I know.
and his company, Maximum Effort.
Maximum Effort, named after
Yep,
Deadpool.
yep, and they're going to they're doing a reboot of Biker Mice from Mars. So maybe I'll get to work with him.
Definitely. All right, number three, and it's to change the pace up a little bit. Smile 2. Have you not heard of Smile?
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
Um,
I did not. That is one that never would have occurred to me. It's really
uh,
good.
it, it was, and excuse my language for this, it was the scariest effing sequel I've ever seen. And
Excellent.
yeah, it had Naomi Scott as the lead role in the sequel. She played a musician named Sky Riley, who was
Uh-huh.
haunted by a demonic presence that only she could see and no one else can, and it's smiling at her. I rather
Great.
not do the demonic smile, but that's the description of what this horror movie is.
Excellent.
It's such a scary movie. If and the soundtrack that goes with it, Naomi Scott did 6 songs for the Sky Riley EP. It's amazing. Um,
6 songs?
yes, for her character Sky Riley.
That is Smile 2.
Yeah.
Great. Boy, you're giving me a list of stuff. I'm going to have all my holiday watching thanks to my buddy Seb.
Yeah, definitely. And number 2, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, you know what? I just finally saw that. My son Ash, a couple months ago, he said, "Have you, when it first came out, have you seen Wolverine, Deadpool Wolverine?" I said, "No, is it good?" He said, "Oh my God, it's a blast." And I watched it on the plane and I just loved it. I loved it.
I mean, it made 1 billion at the box office.
I know, man.
First
That,
R, the first R-rated movie in an MCU franchise.
yeah, to make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no kidding. Well, I'm glad you liked it because you and me and everybody else, it seems, did.
Yeah. And it has 110 F-bombs, in case you're counting up the F-bomb list. It said so on a tweet on Instagram or Threads, etc.
I, that's funny you say that because when I was on the plane,
110.
obviously I had headphones on and I kept going, wow, man, these guys are really wearing out the F word.
I'm starting to take my glasses off. Okay.
That's okay.
Okay. And number one,
Yeah.
the film that just came out, Wicked.
Oh, I've not seen it, but my partner, Randy Rogel, who wrote most of the music for
Mm,
Animaniacs, he saw it in London and he said, "Oh my God, what a great movie." He said, uh, not Jenna Ortega, who's the young lady who plays,
Alphaba, who plays Alphaba?
yeah,
It was Cynthia Erivo. She's from the UK. She plays Alphaba.
oh my gosh. And
And
I
Ariana
remember,
Grande as Glinda the Good.
yeah, and Randy said, "Oh my God, they are both spectacular." And the young man who plays the male lead, he said, I think his name is Ethan. Uh, I don't remember. Anyway, he really loved it. Randy is all about musical theater, and he's worked with Stephen Schwartz, who created Wicked, and wrote, produced, all that book, music, lyrics. and Randy said the movie is fantastic.
Yeah,
So if it's number one on your list, it's a big deal because a
yeah.
lot of Randy agrees with you.
It's a very long movie, but
Yeah.
still great. And when Cynthia Erivo hit the high note, I
Oh,
started sobbing aloud. I was
oh my
sobbing
God.
aloud.
You know what, Seb? I have that same reaction to powerful music and notes like that. Um, I I'm a big classical music fan and certain operas, and I still to this day, when I hear or see Luciano Pavarotti singing Nessun Dorma from Turandot, a Puccini opera, immediately I get goosebumps, I get tearful, and I'm not a particularly religious guy, but music like that and the way it affects you, affects me, affects so many people. I have to say that art, music, theater, literature, at such a high level, when it affects me that deeply, it makes a really good argument to me for a supreme being, because it's kind of like, wow, that is so special. And I don't care how many times I hear it or see it or read it, it always affects me. My goodness, that does make me kind of go like somebody, like God put their head, on a finger on the head of that singer and said, okay, boom. And then they let it go. And I just, wow. So I'm like you. And you know what? That's one of those sense of wonder things. I never want to lose that ability to be amazed by what talented humans do. It's wonderful to have that facility for appreciation.
Mhm. I'm glad. I'm glad you. I love the react. I like the response to the last movie that I just chose for my top five list.
Thank you, buddy. Well, I'm so grateful that you
Yeah,
shared them with.
and now I have a top five animated
Great.
films list for 2024.
Fire away.
And after that, I have one more question for that. Okay,
Okay.
number five. It was a hard choice putting on it. Despicable Me 4,
Uh-huh.
the latest Despicable Me installment. Steve Carell is still doing great at playing Gru.
Is
He,
that is that still Steve Carell?
yes, it's still him.
Fantastic.
He's become a father, and the baby's name is Gru Jr. And
Okay.
and he has to go up against another arch nemesis named Maxine Lamal,
Uh-huh.
who's played by the incredible Will Ferrell. Um,
Oh boy. Yeah, he's
um,
yeah.
He's Maxime, the bad guy. He's mostly a cockroach guy. So, yeah, he's mostly about cockroaches and turning people into cockroaches. Being hypnotized by it.
Wow. Okay. I
It
like
gets
that
crazy.
already. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
What's next?
Number four, Transformers One, the animated Transformers.
Yep.
Josh Cooley directs that movie, and Chris Hemsworth was the younger Optimus Prime. His actual name was Orion Pax,
Interesting.
Orion Pax.
Are um are Frank Welker and Peter Cullen in it?
No, this is the origin story. Like before Optimus Prime was Optimus Prime. It's all
Before
animated
Megatron.
and such amazing cast. Chris,
Excellent. Oh my God. I
yeah,
gotta watch that too
yeah.
because I love Transformers. It was the first Transformers and G.I. Joe Marvel shows were the first cartoons I ever did. And I
That's
and
awesome.
Frank and Peter are two of my best friends, so I'm gonna have to watch that too.
And all thanks to this here book.
Yay! Thank you, Seb. Oh my gosh.
I'm already halfway through the book.
I hope you like it, my friend.
Yeah. And number three, Inside Out 2. I know we already discussed Inside Out
Great
2.
movie, though. Great
Yeah,
movie.
it's very well animated, it's emotional, it's funny, and anxiety She's the perfect character to see on screen, as well
Yeah,
as the other emotions. I think we spoke about this last time we were together on Zoom, and I did
yes,
my ennui impression, like, "Pardon, excusez-moi, I've been waiting my whole life for this very moment."
that's great.
I just wanted to
Très
catch
bien,
you up on it.
très bien.
Number two, Moana 2. Uh,
Yes,
They just released Moana 2 about 2 weeks ago.
uh-huh.
It's an amazing sequel.
Excellent.
Ali Carvalho, she's turned 24. She's the same age as me now. I enjoy doing what she does best, taking on the role of this titled character.
Yeah.
Even though even though Moana's not a princess, we should definitely describe her as a princess, and she's just amazing. And Dwayne Johnson, as Maui,
Yeah,
he hits it 1,000%, especially with his song called "Can I Get a Chihu?"
fantastic.
Um,
Excellent. I'll
yeah,
watch it.
and they did this sequel and the live action movie in between,
Yes,
and they
that's
just
what I heard too. Yeah.
and they just wrapped filming on the 2026 film.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
A lot of stuff.
yeah. And number one, the Wild Robot. The recent
Oh God, that is what I was trying to remember. Everybody I've spoken to said, "What a great movie."
yeah,
So
so great.
that one is right at the top of my list because I have not yet Wicked and Wild Robot. I've not yet heard anyone who said anything but glowing things about Wild Robot.
Yeah, and it's
Good.
such an emotional movie. Lupita Nyong'o as Roz,
Uh,
she nailed it, and its
Great.
film is now nominated for 4 Golden Globes. Just announced yesterday.
Great. Fantastic.
Animated film and original song "Kiss the Sky" by Maurice. And
Yeah.
I cried a couple times in the theater. It
Good.
was,
Good. That means it's right on the money.
yeah, I think you better rewatch it before the year is up.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes, I certainly will.
and now time for my final question. And
Fair enough. Fire away.
now that we're nearly reaching the end of the year, what were the 3 things or lesson that you have learned this year, like in particular?
You ask the best questions, Seb. You're such a bright young man. Oh gosh, the 3 lessons I've learned this year. Uh, you know what? I was just telling my son yesterday. Uh, I've been working on this for, like all of us. We always try to get better. I consider myself a nice man, but I every year I remind myself to work toward being a better one, and uh, by that I mean to learn more about acceptance, to learn more about empathy, to learn more about kindness, uh, courage. Um, and these examples are all around us. So, working on becoming a better human. And I've had a number of lessons this year from people whom I've met, like you, people whom I've met around the world who inspire me to be better. And the great thing about it is that you can do it until you die. And although I'm closer to the end of my life than the beginning, it's exciting to 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 know that you can still learn. And I know it sounds silly, but I love learning. Um, uh, I've started reading a lot more books that I've always thought about catching up on, and those things have taught me a lot of lessons. Um, I think after the last presidential election, I'm learning a lot about how to reconcile significant, serious uh, disagreements with people about the president elect. Um, I I have, in my personal view, I have virtually uh, nothing good to say about Donald Trump. However, I love people who do, and it is a real test of my being able to walk the walk after I talk the talk about acceptance and understanding. So if I love people who are diametrically opposed to my political sensibilities, uh, and how I perceive myself as an American, it's a great test for me, Seb, because my initial reaction is to go, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with you? But that's not fair, to the person. And so I'm learning how to try to work around deep disagreements and still maintain respect and a friendship. And so those are my three biggest things. How about you?
God, I wish I knew. I haven't even planned that question now, but I did think about it in my head like way before we had the Zoom chat, our second conversation together virtually. But I, it's
Tell you
probably
what, I'll tell
creativity.
you what, think about that. And then the next time we chat, I hopefully it's in person when I get a chance to see you again, or it'll be on the Zoom, whatever. But or maybe texting on whatever, Instagram.
Yeah,
Uh, but you think about that, and we'll pick up our conversation in
yeah,
2025 when you're 25.
yeah. I think one of my lessons that I've learned this year was probably creativity. I tried to come up with
Yes.
better ideas for the next video that you want to do, like vlogging, reacting to trailers, and so on. And that I think that's one of the lessons that I have learned. And and the second, respecting others, like respecting your friends and your families, doing them proud, like helping
Always.
them out around the house. And the third reason, being being entertained by other people, and that's just I think those are the three reasons and
Oh,
the
and
three
these are
lessons that
excellent.
I've learned.
These are excellent. I have to tell you, Seb, I speak to a lot of young folks, and you are a delightful, very bright young fella. And having had the pleasure of speaking to you more than once, um, I I look forward to the next time because
Yeah,
not everybody is so aware of the importance of kindness and respect, especially young folks. Often it takes a couple of dings to get people to wake up and be as kind and respectful as you are. So please tell your mom and dad that the wonderful apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. You're a
yeah,
delightful young man.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and I wish you nothing but a wonderful holiday season, the happiest of New Year's, and thank you so very much for taking 45 minutes of your day
Oh,
uh,
wow.
across the pond in Blighty, and, and I look forward to the next time, my friend. Thank you, Seb.
Yeah, so here's a party popper to
Oh,
finish
great!
off.
Go ahead.
I'll probably do two of them. Three,
Okay.
two, one. Oh, sorry. Three, two, one. Oh,
Hey!
there's
Woohoo!
one. Here's the second one.
Okay.
Three, two, one.
Woohoo! Happy
Woo!
pre-New Year, Seth and his
Yeah, make
beautiful.
this all happy new year.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're wearing a perfect sweater because you are a marvel, my friend. Yeah,
Marvelous.
attaboy.
Marvelous.
You're in Hulk green with a big marvel. Attaboy.
Yeah,
Thank you, Seb. It's a pleasure to speak with you and Merry
most
Christmas.
welcome. Take care and have a Merry Christmas.
I sure will, buddy. See you soon.
Bye. thank you guys for watching this video. If you like what you've seen, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe today and turn on the notifications to be notified on new videos. And I hope to see you on the next video. Bye.